All right, next up, going ahead, we have Saudi Arabia, the first place team of Group F, being rewarded, being gifted South Korea. Group E, second place South Korea, who after a crazy last match day finds themselves in second place after a tie against Malaysia. It's South Korea versus Saudi Arabia. This game's going to be insane. This game's going to be an insane round of 16 matchup. Jurgen Klinsmann versus Roberto Mancini, man.
Yeah, you're right. Two European coaches going at it.
Big names.
Famous
Big
European
names.
coaches, bro. I just don't see Saudi Arabia doing much, man. They've let me down in this group stage. If anything, they're disconnected in the offense, man. All I see is a lot of isolation play. I don't see any chemistry going forward. I think their defense is fine. You know, you have players like Saad Al-Tambakti if he's healthy, Al-Bulaihi, obviously, who's going to be their star defender. And then in defense, you still have, you know, Class and Mohamed Kano. But again, going forward, Saudi Arabia have been so disjointed, so disconnected with one another. And when you look at their opponents in South Korea, on the offensive end, they have the X factor of the tournament in Lee Kang-in, a man who by himself can change the outcome of a match. And if you're struggling offensively, well, South Korea's not. No matter how poorly South Korea's playing at the back, they're going to score 2-3 goals if you're not up for the task. I don't know if Saudi Arabia is out for it, man. I know they've had, 7 points at the end of the group stage, but Oman and Kyrgyzstan, I mean, probably one of the two weakest teams of this tournament, man. 100%. And against Thailand, 0-0.
Yeah, and they were both not really truly in it in the sense that if that game had happened in the first round of matches, it would have been a different game.
And we got to see a lot more of who Saudi Arabia are, but that's another thing is that we haven't been able to see that. Kyrgyzstan, there was 2 red cards. Oman, it took Saudi Arabia till the 85th minute to actually turn it on. So I don't know what Saudi Arabia is capable of, and because of that uncertainty, I cannot back them against a fluid offense in South Korea. Now, Korea, as we mentioned in the review against Malaysia, they do leak goals, but I don't think that's going to be a problem in this match. I really don't think so. I think they will outscore Saudi Arabia no matter what here. And yeah, I think it'll be definitely a crazy battle, but once again, dude, Saudi Arabia is going to go out very early at an AFC Asian Cup.
I'll mention that with both these teams, I don't trust either one, man. I don't. I went off on South Korea in our last match recap. And Saudi Arabia, I completely agree with your whole analysis. When it comes to their specific group, we learned nothing, man. We learned nothing. So I'm not going to pick one.
Yeah. No,
no, I'm joking.
Flip a coin.
I'll flip a fucking coin at this point. No, I do think my reason behind why I picked this certain team to win is that I predict that we're going to see a trend of the top teams turning it on in the round of 16. It happens in major tournaments. You start to see it start to almost like starting up an engine. Sure, it was a little shaky during the group stage, but once it's needed, once those bright lights are on and the pressure is on, who actually shows up? Who has the balls to turn it up a notch in these tournaments? And I think it's going to be South Korea.
Yeah.
I think South Korea has too much firepower, too much talent. You mentioned Lee Kang-in. If he's on fire, the game is over. Well, if he's not on fire, look over to Heung-min Son, and maybe Papa can help you out and carry you in a victory there as well. These guys have been in big games. These guys have that experience. I don't see Saudi Arabia being able to compete with that throughout a whole 90 minutes, given the 3 games they've had to prepare so far. If anything, I think that result against Malaysia for South Korea has to, I hope, work as a wake-up call to be like, guys, get it together. Obviously, we have a great offense, but we need our defense to be there for us so that we can get good results in this tournament. I have South Korea finally getting it together in the round of 16 and defeating Saudi Arabia. And yeah, that is pretty crazy that when you look at their AFC Asian Cup history, it's actually pretty disappointing.